So what are we doing today, Wayne?
We're working on a lift pump on a '01 Dodge Ram 3500 with a 24 valve Cummins engine. Customer had a no start on it because fuel related, wasn't getting any diesel to the engine. So first thing we did was we checked to make sure we had power to the MV44 injector pump. Have power there, but have no pressure, zero pressure on the lift pump. When we ran a pressure test on it. And the reason being is one of the reasons was because the lift pump was bad. But the thing about it is I wanted to check the power going to the lift pump. Everybody tells you how to check the pressure at the lift pump, and it's normally around 20 to 25 psi at idle, no lower than 5 psi running down the road pulling a heavy load. So I wanted to be able to test the fuel pump, the lift pump on the engine. As you can see, this is what it looks like, and it has a positive and negative plug goes in right there. And I didn't know a couple of things about it. I've learned a few things here. But I was looking on YouTube, and all you YouTubers that talks about this, I did not see or find a video to explain how this works. What it is, you have a positive and negative. When you turn the key to the run cycle to start with, you get a little 1 or 2 second pulse here that ignites the pump and is supposed to kick it on and make it run for just a second or so. Then it kicks off. To get it to actually run the longer pulse for 20 seconds is you have to crank the engine just a wee little bit. You know, just a couple, 3 cranks on the starter, and then you turn loose of the key. Do not shut the key off, and it should ignite this and make it pump for 15, 20 seconds. And so anyway, my pump was not working. I took a probe, put in on the positive side of the wire, hooked it to a test light, hooked the ground side of the test light to the ground battery cable. And when I would do that, I could see that this was powering up, but no run on the fuel pump. So I went down to the local parts store, picked up a new pump, and put it on. Works great. I did not find, and the main reason for me making this video is to show people that is ignorant like me just how this pump is supposed to work. You would think that when you turn the key on that it would ignite this and that it would make that thing fire up and start running. The pump would start running, but it doesn't. It only lasts just for a few seconds, just for a couple seconds.
So if you weren't aware of that, you were thinking that the whole time there's going to be voltage going to that.
Exactly.
And it's not, and that is the issue that you had to resolve.
Exactly. And the issue, and that if you don't know this, you will be tracing down all your fuses, your breakers, your relays and all that, thinking maybe you got a bad relay, when in return, it's just the computer telling it when and how long for it to run. And of course, then when you start the engine and the engine is actually running, it sends power as needed to the pump to make the pump continue to work. But the initial startup on it is when you, now you can hear the new pump that's in here. It'll buzz and hum because it's running whenever you turn the key on. But but with the old one, the pump was bad. Didn't know the pump was bad. I actually really thought to start with that it was bad, that it was not pumping because of lack of power to the pump. In all reality, that part was working fine, so the pump itself was what was bad.
Right. And where does that pump go?
Oh, this is the lift pump that's on the block on this. This is a 2001 Dodge Ram 3500 with a 24 valve. Some of these trucks have the what they call in-tank pump. This one does not. It's old school. It's still got it on the block. And so it's above the starter, below the fuel filter.
where you take your little pointer that you
I'll
had
see if
and
I can find something. This is the old one, by the way. I've already
Your-
exchanged it out.
your
So,
magnet
I've
boards.
got a pointer here. I'll try to get you in the general area of where it's located at.
Now follow the orange.
Follow this orange handle here, and we're going to point to that. Let me get down here. If you can see that, where that's pointed to, that's where it's located at. In order to get to it from under the truck, you're going to have to pull the starter off of it. In order to get to it from the top, you've got to lay across the top of the engine, which is fun. And 3 bolts holds it on from the top with a couple of hoses and one
So
wire
3
plug.
bolts. So it took about maybe an hour to replace it.
Yeah.
But it took about 3 hours to diagnose all that because there's not an appropriate YouTube video out there. And so that is why he's creating this YouTube video.
Exactly.
So future people don't have to waste 3 hours in doing what he did to diagnose what the issue was.
If you were like me and did not have much experience with these, I would have actually really thought, and I did for a while, think that I'm getting no power to the pump. That's why I have 0 pressure. And that's why it took me so long to diagnose it, because I had to figure out exactly how this power to the pump is supposed to work. Once I figured that out, that it didn't have constant 12 volt. Plus, some of these vehicles, they don't have 12 volts going to certain things. They would have like ohms and stuff like that going to them. So I did not want to hook up 12 volts straight to it and then ruin something else. You know, you can ruin so many different components by hooking stuff up wrong. So that's why I took so long to diagnose it, because I wanted to make sure. Plus, on top of that, when you go down there to the local parts store, this is $297.
Right. You
And
always.
you don't want to stick a $300 part on a vehicle for a customer and it be the wrong part.
You're a mechanic, not a parts changer.
Exactly. You're supposed to be able to diagnose and repair, not just go grab a part and stick it on and sell it to the customer and say, "Oops, I'm sorry, I thought that was what it was." But anyway.
So I hope this video was helpful to people. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like, the notification button.
This only
pertains, and leave comments.
And this only pertains to the trucks with the MVP 44 injector pump, because the older style trucks have the manual lift pump on it. It is not electric. This is a 2001, and I think it's between 2002 and 2000 and 2002. Maybe it's 1999 also in there. I'm not sure. But with this style pump, that's the one I was having an issue with. My other Dodge is a 96. I had to replace the lift pump on it also. These things go bad frequently. I had to replace it on there, but it was a manual pump. It bolted to the engine, the camshaft worked on it, and it's what it makes it work on. But this was totally different. Anyway, good luck.